Good afternoon. I am Bob Rasmussen, Dean of the University of Southern California's Gould School of Law. It is my great pleasure to open this joyous occasion by welcoming family, friends, and graduates to our class of 2009 Commencement Ceremony. We are honored today to welcome a special visitor to our celebration. The Vice President of the United States and Mrs. Jill Biden are here with us today. Like the rest of us gathered under this tent, they are here to honor a loved one in the graduating class. Mr. Vice President, I invite our graduates to take inspiration from you as someone who has used the great gift of a legal education to launch a lifelong career of distinguished public service. We are grateful to you for your service to our country. This is the 109th time USC Law has gathered to award degrees to its graduating students. Celebrating the accomplishments of these students gives us an opportunity to remember and to recommit to the foundational principles that have guided our law school since its humble beginning. In 1896, a group of aspiring lawyers in Los Angeles decided to hire local attorneys to teach them law. Their efforts led to the formation of the Los Angeles Law School in 1898, which merged 2 years later with the University of Southern California, itself a mere 20 years old at the time. In 1901, the first graduates of the University of Southern California School of Law entered the legal profession. Unlike many great institutions of higher learning, our law school thus began percolating up from the desire of students to learn the law. In that founding story, we can find threads of many defining characteristics of the USC The provost just told me I'm fired. This will be my second and last commencement address. Can find threads of many defining characteristics of the USC legal education today. Initiative, creativity, risk, collective engagement, and a genuine love of learning. Graduates, today you join the ranks of USC lawyers. This is a tremendous accomplishment, and I and the rest of the faculty applaud you. You are a gifted group of students and have demonstrated your talents in many outlets at the law school: law journals, moot court, public service, in addition to exemplary classroom work. But I also know that you did not get here by yourselves. There is no such thing as a solo practitioner when it comes to reaching this point in your education. At every turn, you are encouraged, counseled in your education, and supported by those here with us today and those watching on our webcast. Graduates, would you please join me in saluting your family and friends who have helped bring you to this day. Graduates, let me tell you a little bit about yourselves. Our graduate and international programs class of 2009 includes 95 Masters of Law students, 2 Master of Comparative Law students. You represent 23 different countries and speak 31 different languages. As master's students, you have come to our community with degrees from some of the most prestigious universities in the world and with experience as international attorneys, prosecutors, judges, corporate legal counsel, bankers, and government ministry officials. Our JD students are also distinctive. You are the most diverse class graduating from any elite law school in the country. Fittingly, you turn that asset into an intellectual inquiry, creating our first symposium to explore diversity in the legal profession. You have demonstrated unusual leadership in your time here. Your Student Bar Association campaigns have seen more candidates vie for an opportunity to lead than we have had in recent years. 2 of your classmates won an award from a National Economic Research Foundation for their initiatives to advance liberty in the United States. 2 more earned joint degrees with the London School of Economics. Our Public Interest Law Foundation, which this year celebrated its 20th anniversary, raised funds to award over 24 grants to those engaged in public service. During each of your 3 years here, our Legal Aid Alternative Break sponsored outreach to victims of Hurricane Katrina. Many of you gave up your spring break in order to devote your legal skills to those in need. And your class found a creative way to merge the competitive spirit of law school with the USC tradition of public service. You founded the first crosstown challenge against UCLA law, whereby both schools harnessed our natural rivalry to compete for student participation in public service over this past spring semester. I am thrilled to announce that USC's participation rate prevailed over UCLA's. While I would never pass up a chance to tout a victory over the school west of us, this really is a win-win situation, and I'm delighted to declare a shared victory for the spirit of public service. As a class, you have worked hard, not only at your own studies, but also to make our school a better place. You will be missed. I am confident that you will carry these traditions of excellence and generosity forward into your careers. Your faculty, your fellow students, and your community have sought to educate you in the law, but we have sought to do more than merely educate you. We have also sought to inspire in you the intellectual passion to become a lifelong learner. And that is good news. You are embarking on a career that not only enables you to continue to learn, but demands it at the highest levels. The most successful lawyers are those who continue to find excitement in the many ways that society orders its businesses and maintains the all-important relations between a government and its people through law. The merely educated will earn a living, but the lifelong learner will enjoy a life well led. This can mean engaging in the moral and political debates of your time. It can mean advancing the causes of the vulnerable and the powerlessness. It can mean participating at the highest levels of corporate and financial structures. It can mean facilitating the creative talents of those who communicate ideas in our society through art, film, journalism, or music. The point is that the lawyer who is trained to be a lifelong learner will always be needed and will always have a path to satisfaction from her career. USC lawyers have a tradition of this type of engagement. Let me give you an example. 35 years ago, Joyce Kennard sat where you are sitting. Her path to that seat was remarkable. She was born in a Japanese concentration camp in Indonesia. Her father, who was Dutch Indonesian, died in that camp when she was 1 year old. After the war, she and her mother, who was Chinese, moved into a Quonset hut with 4 other families. At the age of 14, she and her mother moved to Holland. In Holland, she lost her leg below her knee to an infection. At the age of 20, she came to the United States and eventually graduated from the Gould School of Law. Joyce Kennard now sits as the second woman and the first Pacific Asian American ever to serve on the California Supreme Court. Befitting her legal training, Justice Kennard is usually the first to ask a question at oral argument, and lawyers know that they have to be on top of their game when appearing before her. She has crafted numerous opinions which are noteworthy for their balance and attention to detail. She is a champion of the rule of law. Justice Kennard is but one example of what a USC lawyer trained to be a lifelong learner can accomplish. In order to be a lifelong learner, you will need several things. First, you will need the critical skills that you have acquired from the outstanding faculty at USC. You will also need the flexibility and open-mindedness that you have developed as a result of having learned the law among a widely heterogeneous group of talented fellow travelers. And you will need generosity of spirit, which the wider USC community has cultivated in you, a spirit of giving in whatever way you can to the common good. And finally, you will need the courage to believe in yourself. Look around you at all those who are gathered here to celebrate your accomplishment of becoming a lawyer. They believe in you. Look at your faculty who sit on this stage bursting with pride at the evolution they have witnessed in you over the last 3 years. We believe in you. Look at your classmates with whom you have endured the long hours, the triumphs and humiliations, excitements and discouragements of law school. They believe in you. So, as you go out into this world, a world that is today breathtakingly in need of your efforts and your talents, take with you the USC traditions of a life of learning and a spirit of generosity. I know that you will make us proud. Congratulations, class of 2009. It is now my pleasure to introduce Vice Dean Scott Altman. Dean Altman joined the faculty in 1988. He served as Associate Dean from 1995 to 2006, at which point he became our Vice Dean, and perhaps most importantly, he taught a number of you property. Dean Altman.
Congratulations, graduates, welcome, family, and friends. The USC Law faculty is an extraordinary group, known nationally for its outstanding scholarship. Some of you may nonetheless wonder what it is law professors actually do. I know my family wonders about this. When my 8-year-old learned that I would be teaching property this term, she could not believe that this was my whole job. She said to me, "Just tell them, share nicely, don't touch other people's stuff." That can't take a whole semester. So what have your professors been doing for these last 3 years? Well, collectively, we have published hundreds of articles and books. We've testified before Congress and served on federal commissions. We were quoted in the press. We helped to litigate state and federal cases. And we spent about 6,000 hours with you in the classroom. I won't ask you whether it felt like 6,000 hours to you. Were those 6,000 hours worthwhile? To judge by student comments in teaching evaluations, they were very much appreciated. And to judge by the outstanding group of lawyers graduating today, they were effective. You came here a diverse, intelligent, and hardworking group, and you leave here as well prepared to represent clients and to advocate for causes as any new lawyers in the country. I ask now that the faculty stand and that you join me in thanking them for helping you to make this wonderful transition.
Our first student speaker today is the president of the 3L class, and I am delighted to introduce Paula Miada. Paula participated in Legal Aid Alternative Break as a 1L and a 2L, and served as Lab's treasurer her second year. She was also active in the law fraternity Phi Alpha Delta, through which she organized a ski trip each year. In addition, Paula was a leadership committee chair for the 2009 3L class gift. As class president, Paula organized a series of casual social events to help her classmates develop the strong personal and professional bonds that would serve them throughout their careers. It is her belief that strong personal relationships ultimately enhance the strength and reach of the Trojan network. Today, Paula becomes a double USC grad, having earned her undergraduate degree cum laude here in 2006. Please welcome class of 2009 President Paula Miada.
First, on behalf of the class of 2009, I would like to thank all of you who are here to share today with us. Whether you have supported us emotionally, financially, spiritually, or otherwise, we are extremely grateful to have you in our lives. Whether you taught us or just listened, pushed us, or were a cushion to fall on, we thank you for caring. And we cannot forget those who wanted to be here but couldn't. They hold a special place in our memories and our hearts. Second, to my colleagues, the class of 2009, you are the most independent, headstrong, determined, and yes, stubborn group of individuals I have ever had the honor of meeting. Your strength and determination are the reasons that I know, even in the most uncertain of times, you will float like oil in water, all the way to the top. Although it may take longer than expected, and there may be a few unexpected obstacles to overcome, after spending the past 3 years with you, I have faith that you will all succeed, as you all will create your own definitions of success. Finally, since in my 24 years, I have little wisdom of my own to impart, I want to share a quote with you that has been serving as a reminder to me these past couple months. Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. Congratulations, class of 2009. Let's celebrate and enjoy today, our gift.
Thank you, Paula. Our next speaker is our Student Bar Association President, Allison Parker. Allie hails from Boston, Massachusetts, and if she wasn't graduating here today, my guess is she would probably be, you know where, at a Red Sox game. Allie became involved with the Student Bar Association as a 1L and served as vice president her second year. One of Allie's missions this past year was to encourage the entire student body to participate in public service work. By taking the traditional rivalry that USC and UCLA have had on the playing field and giving students public service opportunities across Los Angeles, Allie melded good deeds with spirited competition. She has been honored as the Public Interest Law Foundation Student of the Year and with a Shattuck Award this year. Please welcome Allie Parker.
Hey guys! Apparently I wasn't going to be able to speak if we didn't win the Crosstown Challenge, so I'm pretty psyched that that happened. I'm also pretty psyched I'm getting a webcast right now. I feel like I'm in the future. All right, well, thank you very much, Dean. Your support, and as well as Dean Altman's support, was great in the Crosstown Challenge. I also want to offer a warm thank you to the staff here who make this graduation really special for everybody. And then I want to welcome all of the families and friends watching live and via webcast. You've always been there for us, and we couldn't do this without your support. So, I was watching the Red Sox game the other night. You guys didn't really think I was going to make a speech and not talk about the Red Sox, did you? It was a tie game in extra innings against our arch rivals, the New York Yankees. I was on the edge of my seat, waiting for star pitcher Jonathan Papelbon to run out of the dugout and finish off the Yankees' batters. However, someone who didn't quite look like Jonathan Papelbon started walking up to the mound. And then he started warming up with the catcher, and then he sat there while the batter came. Hold on, Ramon Ramirez was closing this game? Really? The announcer explained that Red Sox manager calls games like this situations with responsibility. While Ramon Ramirez was inexperienced in these situations, our manager saw something in him and believed he could perform. Okay, Terry, I'll take your word for it while I'm hiding behind this blanket. By the time he had allowed 2 Yankees to get in scoring position, I felt the, oh geez, here we go again feeling. Then a funny thing happened. I kind of identified with Ramon Ramirez. He didn't show that he was intimidated. He seemed perfectly composed on the mound. This guy was in a situation with responsibility, and he was owning it. I remember feeling like that my first year of law school on the first day I went to the social services office to advocate for public assistance applicants. A caseworker was trying to deny my client food stamps solely because she didn't have an ID, which is against California law. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I took a deep breath and pretended like I did. My client left with what she deserved under California law, and I left with a new feeling of confidence. In high school, my guidance counselor told me I could never get into college, and even if I did, there was no way my family could afford it. After going to college, I studied for the LSAT between my jobs bartending. I remember one of my regulars laughing at my law school aspirations, telling me that I had a better chance of winning the lottery than of becoming a lawyer. When I came here, I felt like the kid my guidance counselor saw, or the uneducated bartender my old client saw. You were also composed and confident. You all took perfect notes in class, you nodded at the exact right times, and you always knew the right answer. I was intimidated and scared. Then I started meeting people in my section. I was shocked by how supportive you were. I expected law school to be cutthroat, and my classmates are giving me notes and studying tips. Not that I needed them. Over the following 2 years, I learned how open, non-judgmental, and warm my classmates are. J-Law, despite your proper Ivy League background, you have entertained all of us with your great sense of humor. Edith, your passion for public service has really inspired all of our colleagues and me. Giebler, you are so friendly and supportive to all of us, even though we were all clearly intimidated that you are a famous architect. So we are a team. We are a team of superstars, but we are a team. Some of you will be Dustin Pedroia, the scrappy second baseman. Your explosive offense, hard work, and grit will carry our team, and you are destined to become a lovable phenomenon. Some of you will be Gabe Kaplers and use your remarkable good looks to forward your career. I know that I am Jason Varitek, the Red Sox captain. While I'm not always the best hitter, and obviously not the biggest superstar here, I'm honored to lead the team. I hope that all of you have the spirit of Ramon Ramirez, standing by yourself on the mound, facing all-star batters, knowing that you worked hard enough to be put into a situation with responsibility and taking ownership of it. I hope that all of you, just like Ramon Ramirez the other night, can come through in the clutch and keep your team alive. I know you will face the world with the pride and education that USC Law has given you. But more importantly, as you look around today, your team has grown by about 300 people. You are all such an important part of my life. Thank you for being on my team. Thank you for all the support and confidence you have given me. To all of you staying here, to all of you leaving California, and to all of you leaving the United States, keep our traditions alive and don't ever forget the family that you have here. It is with great pride that I, on behalf of the Student Bar Association, congratulate the class of 2009.
Thanks, Allie. Yumi An was elected by her fellow LLM and MCL students to represent them here today as their 2009 commencement speaker. Yumi served as social chair and has worked diligently throughout the year to unite her classmates of different backgrounds socially and academically. Before coming to USC Law, Yumi received her undergraduate degree in Law and Economics at Queen's Mary, University of London, and completed a graduate diploma in law from the College of Law of England and Wales. She worked at Kim & Chang, a leading international law firm in Korea, and did pro bono work at the Royal Courts of Justice Citizens Advice Bureau in England. Prior to her legal studies, Yumi was a professional concert pianist, having performed extensively in Europe, including at Buckingham Palace for Prince Charles's 50th birthday celebration. Please welcome Yumi An.
I'm not as tall as the dean or Ali Parker, so. Hi, Mom and Dad. They're watching in Korea by webcast, so. Good afternoon, and thank you all for coming. My journey to USC Law School was not certainly smooth sailing. My mother-in-law in Korea, was strongly opposed to the idea of me leaving the country to study, because she was adamant that an LLM is not a title I need, but an MRS. After fruitless blind dates with 7 doctors, a lawyer, a fund manager, a diplomat, an engineer, and 3 guys with rich parents, I successfully persuaded her to believe that I may stand a better chance of getting an MRS on the other side of the Pacific. However, getting her approval wasn't the final obstacle to the plan. On the day of my grand departure, I lost $3,000 cash. I was so sure I put it safely in my desk drawer, but it was nowhere to be found. An hour passed by, still no luck. Covered in cold sweat, a thought flashed across my mind. If I don't leave right now, I'll probably never be able to. If my mother found out that I lost the money and missed the flight, she would say, "That's it, you are staying here. Another blind date scheduled tomorrow." Determined to avoid the deja vus of awkward meetings with strange men, I worked up the courage to leave without the money. Running so late, I got into a taxi, and I was dozing up in the taxi, and I woke up to a loud bursting sound in the middle of the freeway. Yes, the taxi got a flat tire. This was the only and first time in my life this has happened. The driver had to pull up and fix the tire for 40 minutes, and my flight was leaving in an hour. Then I was thinking, God, the whole world is set up against me going to USC. I give up. Thankfully, after all the drama, I made it safely to LAX in one piece, and which marked the beginning of a fresh new adventure. We, LLM and MCL, class of 2009, have come from all corners of the world with different nationalities, languages, ages, work, and life experiences. But we certainly have one thing in common. We are all aliens in this country. Adjusting to a new lifestyle in LA was a challenge for most of us. The following comment from my fellow classmate sums up our experience in a nutshell. I've never met so many special and different people before. I've never spent so much money and time traveling around before. I've never failed, not once, my driving test before. I have so much sympathy for her for the last comment. Many of us also have struggles with studying in English. As a Korean educated in the UK, you may think that I have no language barrier. But yes, I do. I still can't get my head around why football is called soccer, and when things are bad, they suck. As we were treating upon unfamiliar territories, we've all slowly but surely become loyal Trojans. I'm now a hardcore USC football fan, or should I say American football, and have developed an unreasoned distaste for one particular school in Westwood. Study of American law has improved our understanding of American society, history, and culture beyond measure. The intricate interplay of law and politics, where American judges have the power to reshape the whole legal system, but this power is balanced by the government's powers to appoint Supreme Court justices, is a fascinating phenomenon. And what's more fascinating is that it somehow works. On this note, we feel very privileged to have come to this country at the right time to witness one of the most critical moments in the US history, the election of President Obama. Yay. I'm so proud to be graduating with all my classmates who have better GPAs, better careers, better resumes, better everything than me. Words fail miserably to express my gratitude for love and support you've given me. I'm never going to forget celebrating my birthday on the 67th floor of the US Bank Tower when my classmates sang happy birthday for me in 10 different languages. Thank you, love you. I'd also like to thank all my JD friends who have constantly impressed me with their academic vigor and kindly welcomed me into the law school family. Today is Teachers' Day in Korea. It's a day of the year teachers are swamped with cards, flowers, gifts, and innocent bribes. Sorry I didn't bring presents, but I would like to thank, on behalf of our class, all faculty members for their excellent teaching and friendly support. It was such a great honor to be taught by world-class experts who are and will continue to be our great mentors and friends. Now I'm going to run the risk of being tedious by naming 6 people to thank because they warrant special thanks from us. They are Anne, Debbie, Misa, Rosanna, Stephanie, and Sylvia from the GNIP office in alphabetical order. You are like our extended family in the US, and we don't know what to do now that we don't have reminder emails from you anymore. Before I close, some of you might be wondering what happened to the $3,000. After I left for sunny California, my mom found it resting peacefully in my desk drawer. Thank God I didn't let the $3,000 change my destiny and miss the best year of my life here at USC. I'd like to close with a message accompanied by Korean Sign Language I've been studying for a year. Thank you, USC Law. You have changed my life. For the better, of course.
Thank you, Yumi. I am now honored to introduce our commencement speaker, the highest-ranking lawyer in the state of California, Attorney General Edmund G. Brown, Jr. A native Californian, Attorney General Brown's career is varied in scope and marked by a commitment to public service. Attorney General Brown graduated from Yale Law School in 1966 and quickly made his mark by fighting corrupt political practices. In 1970, he was elected California Secretary of State. In 1974, he was elected Governor of California and re-elected in 1978. his 8 years as governor are widely viewed as a progressive and exciting time for the state of California. As governor, he appointed the first female, African American, and Latino judges to the California Supreme Court. He also appointed more women and minorities to high government offices than any other chief executive. As governor, Attorney General Brown started the California Conservation Corps, enacted the California Coastal Protection Act into permanent law, and pushed for the country's first building and appliance energy standards. In 1998, Jerry Brown returned to public service, this time as mayor of Oakland. And in 2006, he was elected our Attorney General. By all accounts, our speaker has led with vision and heart. For a law school with a strong commitment to public service, Attorney General Brown is a fitting choice to address our graduating class. Please welcome Attorney General Edmund G. Brown, Jr.
Thank you very much. You know, I really don't like these commencement addresses. They take a hell of a lot of time. You don't make much news. You don't raise any money. All of which you have to attain if you want to be very serious about political achievement. And I'm very serious about it because I haven't done much else in my life. Yeah, my father was governor, so, you know, what else could I do? Anyway, I should say, by the way, don't be impressed that I get into Yale. I got a very strong letter of recommendation by California's Chief Justice, a very prominent Chief Justice at that, who was appointed by my father. I've always believed in legacy. That's an affirmative action I understand. And worked for me, works for a lot of people. So let's not get too picky about those LSAT scores. I didn't do all that good, but I got pretty far. I'm now the top lawyer. I'm actually the top cop, which didn't do me too much good because a couple of criminals stole my 2 tires from my car last week. It was parked outside my house in Oakland. That's what you get when you're not mayor anymore. Anyway, I want to congratulate you on your graduation. As a USC lawyer, you're joining a very special fraternity in government, in business, and in the arts. I notice these USC graduates, they stick together, they get stuff done, and if you're not one of them, well, you don't get as much from them as you do if you are. You start as new lawyers in a legal world far different from the one when you started. Job openings are fewer, and the pace and the shape of economic growth is uncertain. The nation is struggling with massive economic problems. The excesses and the leverage of the financial sector, it generated huge wealth, but now have left the nation shaken. Here in our own state, the gap between revenue and spending continues to careen out of control. The representatives of the people, the state legislature, enjoy the confidence of less than 15% of the voters. Now think about that. We're a representative democracy. The essence of our democracy is the representation, and 85% are pretty turned off. That is a challenge. Serious people are calling for a constitutional convention, which would be the first one since the 19th century. The discontent is everywhere. The remedies of term limits, ballot measures have produced more gridlock, more rigidity, and more polarization. Hundreds of new crime laws and dozens of prisons have not reduced the fear of crime, but have certainly increased the expense. The state used to spend 5 times more on its university system than on its prison. Now the two are almost equal. 70% of inmates who are released, that's about 10,000 a month, and you get 10,000 entry. So it's a very remarkable hotel operation, no vacant rooms. Even though 10,000 leave every month, 10,000 always come. It's in perfect balance somehow. It's wired tight. Anyway, 70% of the inmates who are released return in 3 years. Where once California had an indeterminate sentence, the law now provides a determinate sentence. From having no idea of their release date, prisoners know the exact day when they're to leave. There's no chance to earn early release and no incentive to work hard at self-improvement. Last year in California, more than 800,000 violent crimes were committed. For schools, dropout rates remain very high, particularly in low-income areas, often as high as 50%. And this comes after endless laws and reforms, exit exams, teacher exams, state tests, state curriculum standards, federal tests, and rules codified under the rubric, "No Child Left Behind." Measurement has become a talisman, like adding a second or a third speedometer to an underperforming car. As for the environment, species extinction and climate change challenge us in utterly profound ways, demanding not just change, but transformation. Don't get depressed. Help's on the way. It is on the way in a very unexpected direction. When you reach a dead end, which is pretty much where we are, or a breakdown, that is when breakthrough becomes possible. Humankind doesn't like to change unless it has to. Well, we now have to change, and change in many, many ways. As mayor in Oakland, I saw breakdown in the downtown. From a vibrant city center, it had become, through the exodus to the suburbs, the earthquake of 1989, and the recession in the early 90s, a place of abandonment. Yet, because of the BART transit system, by the way, a system that my father started when he was governor by passing a billion-dollar bond in 1966. By the way, I got out of law school in 1964. I got 2 more years, so I don't want to forget that. But the Oakland downtown, because of the BART, was only 12 minutes from the financial district in San Francisco. So I thought, why not the downtown of Oakland as bedroom community for San Francisco? The idea didn't seem plausible at the time, but I forged ahead anyway to encourage builders to bring in enough condos and apartments for 10,000 people. Elegant density, I called it. That's being squeezed tightly together in downtown Oakland. Oakland would become closer to San Francisco than San Francisco was to itself. There are many parts of San Francisco that take more than 12 minutes to get there. And now there are restaurants, art galleries, and thousands of people. As governor, I saw the first oil embargo and decided to push for energy efficiency and solar and wind and other renewable technologies. I even proposed a state satellite to move data around the state instead of state employees, and for emergency preparedness. I got so excited that people accused me of wanting my own space program. I kind of did. So I was given the name Governor Moonbeam, which I haven't been able to get rid of for the last 20 years. But I take it as a mark of intelligent deviance. Individual difference as opposed to regression to the mean. Avoid that like the plague. What was once an oil shortage soon became a glut, and the nation went on a binge using more oil and less efficient machines. The new California energy efficiency standards for refrigerators, stoves, and other appliances were soon preempted by a federal no standard standard. Now let me define what that is. We had great efficiency standards. Then the federal government, in its wisdom, passed a zero standard, meaning there can't be an efficiency standard imposed by government other than the one imposed by the federal government, which was no standard at all. Double talk, Orwellian. The breakdown had passed, and so did the breakthrough. This time, we don't have to worry. There's no glut of oil. There's no glut of solutions. There are deep problems. Climate change, huge and continuing budget deficits, persistent school failure, a very expensive prison system, the so-called Department of Corrections, which doesn't correct. In fact, I might sue them for misrepresentation. Yet, in so many ways, we're at a dead end, a clear and convincing breakdown. Necessity, however, will push us toward the breakthrough. Your studies in the law have taught you how to think, how to unravel legal problems. But you've also learned how to learn, how to reframe a problem, how to know when there is no problem. Beware of solutions looking for a problem. The world is full of them, particularly in government and politics. You've learned rigor, but hopefully not rigor mortis. Too much order is death. Imagination is also required, and yet too much imagination is confusion and even insanity. You need both rigor and imagination, but mostly relentless curiosity, love of learning, open to the unfamiliar, a sense of the aesthetic, of beauty. I want to make reference to a passage of Montaigne. Now, I don't read Montaigne, but I was talking to Stephen Breyer the other day, and he said, you got to read the last chapter of Montaigne's essay on experience. Now, since I have more experience than all the other wannabe candidates, I thought I'd better get a handle on this experience stuff. So here's what Montaigne had to say. It is a sign of, by the way, he wrote this in 1577. It's a sign of contraction of the mind when it is content, or perhaps of weariness. A spirited mind never stops within itself. It's always aspiring and going beyond its strength. It has impulses beyond its powers of achievement. If it does not advance and press forward, the mind is only half alive. Its pursuits are boundless and without form. Its food is wonder, the chase, ambiguity. It's a good description of what law school might well be. All right, we need something new, all right, but the new comes only out of the random. I want you to think a little bit about that. New comes from the random. If it's all planned, there's no room for change. If you want something that isn't, you have to allow it to show up and appear. And that's coming out of intuition, serendipity, occasions which we often can't predict, but you can be ready. Since I graduated from law school 45 years ago, California's enacted at least 40,000 more laws. Hell, I signed 8,000 of them myself. I appointed 800 judges, by the way, so keep that in mind. Some of you are going to be judges. I don't think I'm going to be around that long, but I think you can make it. Particularly when you have the USC Mafia at your back. So with all these 45,000 new laws, 40,000 laws, you have more and more, you shall not do this, you shall do that. Yet more laws don't always mean better. Quantity is profoundly different from quantity. Real change means the pattern must change. More laws and more minute and pervasive prescriptions of what must be done and what must not be done. Less discretion for the judge, as sentencing is predetermined, and less discretion for the parole board. Less discretion for the teacher, as schooling is standardized. Less elbow room, more precise measurement of failure. Again, Montaigne. The most desirable laws are those that are rarest, simplest, and most general. And I even think that it would be better to have none at all than to have them in such numbers as we have. And that was over 400 years ago. I couldn't have said it better myself. I want to close with a more contemporary reflection on the law, that of my late contracts teacher, the late Grant Gilmore. Law reflects, but in no sense determines, the moral worth of a society. The values of a reasonably just society will reflect themselves in reasonably just law. The better the society, the less law there will be. In heaven, there will be no law, and the lion will lie down with the lamb. The values of an unjust society will reflect themselves in an unjust law. The worse the society, the more law there will be. In hell, there'll be nothing but law, and due process will be meticulously observed. Go forth with the confidence that you can transform this society. Thank you.
Thank you, General Brown. We are honored to have Executive Vice President and Provost Max Nikias with us today to award your degrees. The best lawyers are persons of breadth and depth. They are lifelong learners. These are the same qualities which Provost Nikias seeks to instill in all of USC students. He is committed to the idea that a university should educate the entire person. Last year, Provost Nikias was named inaugural holder of the Malcolm R. Curry Chair in Technology and the Humanities, USC's first endowed faculty position honoring accomplishments in both technology and the humanities. Equally passionate about both, Provost Nikias founded the Viterbi School's Integrated Media Systems Center and created USC's Visions and Voices, an arts and humanities initiative that partners USC's renowned constellation of arts programs with Los Angeles' arts and cultural organizations. This initiative features film festivals, theatrical plays, humanities lectures, exhibitions, and musical and other performances. Provost Nikias graduated with honors from the Famagusta Gymnasium, a school that emphasized history and Greco-Roman classics. He received a diploma from the National Technical University of Athens, the oldest and most prestigious higher education institution of Greece, and earned a master's and doctorate from the State University of New York at Buffalo. Please welcome Provost Nikias.
Thank you, Dean Rasmussen. It is my supreme honor and privilege to confer degrees upon a new graduating class of USC's great Gould School of Law. It is the USC Law School. We send you forth with confidence in whichever area that you choose to focus your legal skills. You have been equipped to make a difference on behalf of others, to bring about justice and order and freedom and opportunity within your community and your society. You are here today at a moment in which we are witnessing a global movement toward respect for law and institutions, one that is transforming societies and cultures. Yet the lessons of our ancestors shows that law and institutions require careful tending and constant attention. It is for that reason that we ask that you remember. Today represents an important milestone in your education, but your days of learning must continue onward till the end of your own days. A philosopher once observed that in times of great change, only those who continue to learn will inherit the earth. For those who abandon the learning process, once they hold a prestigious diploma, they will find themselves wonderfully ready for a world that no longer even exists. But the USC experience, we believe, is an experience that ignites a flame that can burn for a lifetime, and that will allow you to adapt and to help guide one another through a changing world. In your collective hands, the eternal flame of learning will bring goodness to each other and to all those who come into your life. So with pride in your accomplishments, my fellow Trojans, will all candidates for degrees please rise? By the authority vested in me by the USC Board of Trustees, I now confer upon you the degrees Juris Doctor and Master of Laws, and such other degrees as you have qualified for, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. As evidence of these degrees, the Dean will present you with diplomas of the University of Southern California, signed by the officers of the university and embossed with the seal of the university. Congratulations, you may be seated.
We will begin by conferring degrees on our Master of Laws and Master of Comparative Laws candidates, followed by our Juris Doctor candidates. Each graduate will come to the stage to get his or her diploma. Associate Dean Deborah Call, who directs our graduate international programs and serves as a mentor, counselor, and guide to our students, will read the names of each graduate, and I will present them with their diplomas. And graduates, please pause for a moment with me so we can get a great photo. Dean Call.
You ready?
Massimo Amoruso. Yoichi Shibata. Yvonne Bensassen. Bjarni Bjarnason. Valentine Bourget. Mariano Cafiero. Yiki Kai. Chichun Chan. Lorianne Chang. Chenwen Chen. Zhuiping Chen. Eduardo Coes. Jantapa Ojangmani. Fargol Farokyan. Ziyan Gen. Vaishak Gupta. Tanya Habibabadi. Rami Halwani. Shen Ho. Stephanie Ho. Yip Yo Hung. Chinli Huang. Dwankamol Inkapatanakul. Wanoro Irabwake. Ying Jen. Nachapol Jitarat. Sasipen Junta Sopipunt. Kenichiro Kawada. Sung-eun Kim. Wonki Kim. Daeho Ko. Daisuke Kobayashi. Kazuhisa Kodama. Yuichi Kono. Sungmo Ku. Yashwan Ku. Aichu Lau. Dongyun Lee. Youngra Lee. Shelley Leon. Chungming Lee. Wenchun Lee. Wenji Lee. Chihung Liang. Hubin Lim. Pei-Yu Lin. Win-Chun Lin. Xiaorong Liu. Tianshun Liu. Yin Liu. Noriaki Mashida. Mauricio Martinez Renteria. Junji Maruko. Kana Matsumura. Patrick Neidinger. Valeria Namiro. Varun Nishul. Olushola Orolugbogbi. John Osakomi. Yingfan Pan. Dongbong Park. Junyoung Park. Songki Park. Mark Philip Prinz. Jing Chu. Afsha Rangwala. Takeshi Sakata. Umane Sikaros. Abraham Sanchez Sikaros. Sonia Schneeman. Cornelia Stark. Motohiro Suzuki. Yuan Tian. Anuj Trivedi. Nejan Tu. Nicholas Vonk. Maciej Veselovsky. Lengwei Wu. Kwan Suk Yang. Han Yim. Youngmin Yim. Yasuko Yokosawa. Akihiko Yokota. Hiroyuki Yonakura. Takashi Yanayama. Akira Yoshino. Vaya Shizlovsky. Shang Chung. Lin Lin Zhang. Yan Zhang. And lastly, I'd like to award Ms. Yumi An. Yumi An.
Now it's time to confer the Juris Doctors. Paula Miada will introduce each graduate as I hand them their diplomas.
Okay. Helena Obi Ujudua. Asal Akamzeta. Brooke Alexander. Jason Thomas Anderson. Christian Andreo Van Yu. Cynthia Kathleen Arce. Anjali Aurora. Theodora A. Atia. Muriel Elizabeth Aubrey. Catherine Myers Baldwin. Allison Jill Ballack. Daniel Fallon. Tina W. Bow. Barbara Nora Barath. Colleen Elizabeth Goffin. Vadim Bindersky. Matthew Scott Bennett. Neil Kamal Bala. Joy Angela Billy. Noemi Alexandra Blasuda. Jeremy James Bledsoe. Jesus Alejandro Borbon. Laura Marie Bryhan. Peter Thomas Brecka. Christopher Allen Briscoe. Julia Brodsky. Neil Evan Brower. Christopher John Buechler. Jason William Katz. Andres L. Carrillo. Lawrence K. Chan. Kristen Chong-Yoon Chang. Ernesto Chavez. Vivian Chen. Jennifer Ann Chiego. Christopher C. Cianci. Stephanie Lynn Cerrone. Tim J. Clark. Sarah Ojeda Clifton. Andrew McMorris Coffin. David Christopher Colgan. Mary R. Conklin. Brian Merrill Cook. Ryan Joseph Crane. Julie Diane Crisp. Jacqueline K. Cunanan. Mario Emmanuel Dominguez. Sean Raymond Donnellan. Gabriel Renee Duarte. Amy Irene Dunphy. David Edward Edsall. Jason W.J. Egan. Andrew C. Elkin. Christopher Allen Elliott. Noel Romay Formosa. Colin W. Frazier. Matthew Austin Gardner. Megan Kathleen Garibaldi. Marissa R. Jeanette. Michael Ellis Gerst. Rand Johnson Getlin. Stephanie Goyce. Carlos Alberto Gomez. Veronica Elizabeth Gomez. Emma Elizabeth Ascension Gonzalez. John Christopher Gray. Adam P. Greenberg. Scott Paul Greenwood. Karen Andrea Gruss. Patrick James Hagan. Donald Ray Hammond. Catherine M. Hersema. William Swan Helvestein. Kevin Paul Hermison. Sean Thomas Higgins. Rachel Mary Hilliard. Lindsay Maria Holloman. Michael Christopher Hoodie. Lisa Kathleen Horgan. Helen Danhui Shue. Justin Tyler Hughes. Christopher H. Hutton. Samuel Lee Jackson. Ning Ji. Maximilian Joe. Cassandra S. Jones. Brad Knopf Kaiserman. Sarah Caribbean. Gregory Stephen K. Lutfi Ziad Karoof. June Kim. June Young Kim. Steve Kim. Claire Jaeyoon Ko. Jesse Michael Coppin. Danielle Marie Kudla. Shivank Kumar. Tali L. Queller. Aaron Lapping. Brady Thomas Larson. Matthew Peter Larson. Jeremy Andrew Lawrence. Alexa Megan Lawson-Reamer. Michelle Diane Laser. Derek Anthony Lazaro. Irene Lee. Jamie Lynette Lee. Jason Lee. Nancy Maggie Lee. Andrea Alyssa Lehman. Nicholas James Laramatis. Edith I. Lopez. Brian Daniel London. Alicia Warren Macklin. Nathaniel J. Madsen. Jan Margolin. Aaron Kelly McCann. Brian O'Connor McMonigal. Brian Patrick McNearney. William A. Myers. Ahmed Yazmian. Edward Oswaldo Morales. Paris Shams Molavi. Selena Maria Munoz. Dan David Nabel. Yalda Neal. Amy Elizabeth Neeland. David B. Neinstein. Stephen Ng. Eugene Nye. Gwendolyn Renee Nichols Julian. Sean M. Ogle. John Charles Opgenorth. Theodore E. O'Reilly. Cuff Biden Owens. Lisa Marie Paez. Jacqueline Paige Pagano. Peter Jung Hwan Park. Nisha Patel. James L. Pearson. Christopher L. Perez. Nikila Raj. Smita Reddy. Joshua Timothy Ruling. Michael Walter Reynolds. Brian Keith Riddle. Drew Ann Robertson. Brianne Elise Robowski. Adam Brock. Allison Rose. Nicholas Rosenthal. Adam Joseph Rottenberg. Matthew S. Schumann. Daniel Casey Fisher Schwartz. Zev M. Scheckman. Philip Shilong Shen. Margaret H. Shu. Jack L. Siegel. Justin Singh. Mitchell David Spearer. Janani Sukumaran. Yoon Fei Sun. I know, I got her. Anna C. Stubblefield. Jutama Judy Sawatana Pongched. Michael Shurig. Farah Tabib Kohi. Noah Tall. Riaz Tahani. Michael Eugene Thompson. Brandon A. Thor. Stacy Mari Tomita. Guido Emerson Tosano. Alan David C. Jessica Lynn Tolk. Capricia Vallecillo. Sarah Lynn von Halfenwagen. Kristen Elise Vanderpass. Michael E. Velarde. Jasmine Marie Velasquez. Kobe Marie Vink. Natalie Veray Fung. Adrian Miguel Vivas. Sean Jordan Voigt. Hong An Vu. Cynthia Y. Wang. Michael Thomas West. Warren Jude Williams. Catherine Brown Walliver. Louis Wong. David W. Wu. Sally Wu. Aaron Reiko Yoshimo. Matthew Aaron Young. Jason Kang Yu. Hao Huang. David Adam Agai. Jonathan Giebler. Allie. You want to get your diploma?
Anybody else?
Yeah. I'm announcing you. I'm announcing you.
Okay.
Okay. Allison R. Parker.
we have one more Juris Doctor degree to confer. Paula Miada, please accept your diploma and my congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pride to introduce the University of Southern California Gould School of Law, class of 2009. As we conclude this commencement ceremony, all of you are invited to join the graduates for a reception, which will be held adjacent to where you are now sitting in front of the Ohini Library Fountain. Thank you all for sharing this important occasion with us. Have a wonderful evening, and graduates, please visit us often. Thank you.